We are back with the Sports Forum radio show here on 98.1. We are joined by a very special guest, former CSU basketball player Joe Palmer's in the building. Joe, thank you so much for sitting down with us here today. How are you doing today, brother?
I appreciate you guys having me, man. I'm just happy to be here, doing well this weekend. So excited to talk a little bit.
That's awesome, man. I mean, I know that you're doing great. Everything's been looking fantastic from you, ever since that season. I saw recently you're releasing that new beer, a little bit of a beer collaboration. It looks great. I mean, it's you going up, you have the basket, your face on the beer can. If there's anything you want to tell us about that.
Yeah, that was pretty random. I just got a text one day. I was rollerblading around town, believe it or not, in Fort Collins, and I get a text. They're like, "Hey, I think I just saw you rollerblading," from this random person. I was like, "What the heck is this?" And then they're like, "I have a interesting proposition for you." So I was like, "Okay, let's hear it." Like, "How would you like to be on a beer can?" I'm like, and why not? So that's how it came about, pretty random. So now we're here this Saturday to have a little open house, so it'll be fun.
No, that should be awesome, man. I mean, it's just so
Yeah,
fantastic to see your face on a beer can, really fun to see. But you were
right.
so notorious. I mean, your nickname all throughout college was Joe Headband Palmer. I want to
Yeah.
ask you, man, where did the headband really originate? I know it's a pretty simple thing that a lot of players do, but for whatever reason, I mean, it really does seem like the fan base really took to it. Everything was kind of marked by that headband. Where did that really start for you?
Man, so at my old school, Augsburg, I had a teammate that kind of wore it, and so he had a couple of other guys wear it with him. So I was like, oh, I'll try it. So I did a little bit there, and then really how it came about was my grandma couldn't see me on the TV that well, so I tried wearing yellow shoes, and then she still couldn't really see me that well because a lot of the other guys wore yellow shoes. So then she, I just decided, I was like, "Hey, I'll go back to the headband," and then she's like, "Now I can see out there." So I was like, "All right, perfect. I'll just keep wearing that." And then, yeah, people started to really like it. So I was like, "All right, I can't take it off now." So
Man, that's awesome. What a great story right there. But you're talking
yeah,
about your time, playing D3 basketball for, 3 seasons out there in Minnesota. What was that like, that first interaction, with Nico, with Coach Medved, and your transition over to Colorado State? What was that process like?
yeah, he was just super candid, super open and honest with me. He was just like, "This is going to be a big leap of faith for you." You know, I was coming from a small Division 3 school, and he was just very real with me, which is kind of hard to find in the recruiting process. You learn with a lot of coaches, so that's what I really appreciate about him. And he didn't promise me anything, which in a weird way I really liked because it was like a big challenge for me. And he's like, if you're willing to take this leap of faith and come out here, I think you'll reap a lot of the rewards. And I don't think he expected even this much to come from it, but and I didn't either, but it worked out, man. I was just happy that he took a chance on me. You know what I mean? I know a lot of people were probably like, what is Medved doing taking this little D3 kid? Like, who is this guy? Like, we should be getting other big time guys out of the portal and stuff. So I was just super appreciative of just the opportunity, that he gave me. So I'll forever be indebted to him for giving me that.
Yeah, he's a fantastic coach. I mean, we got a good chance to be able to get to know him a little bit over the season. Taking a look
Right.
this past year, it was such a phenomenal year for the organization overall, for the program. You guys made a statement in the Mountain West Championships out there in Vegas. I want to ask you about that the San Jose State game. You came through in a massive way. I mean, it was one of those games where the top dogs just weren't really firing. It was a tough time finding the basketball that reached the bottom of the net there. What led you to really step up in that game? I mean, you hit 4 or 5 threes. We were at the game. It was just one of those, times where it seemed like you really couldn't miss anything that you were putting up out there.
Yeah, because I was struggling before that, too. I know that, and it was just really honestly, I was just came in with the attitude like it can't get much worse for myself, my individual play at that point, and so I was just like, I'm just gonna let it fly. And it's kind of funny because obviously, like if Zay's not hitting, okay, then we'll kind of expect Neek to get going. If Neek's not going, okay, we got Joel to get going. If Joel's not going, okay, we got Pat to get going. And if those two aren't going, it's like, okay, maybe we got Josiah or Jalen Lake to go. So it kind of felt like everyone was a little like, I don't want to say off, but like it was just like, man, like no one's really like couldn't get it really going. So I was like, oh, let me give it a shot. And I don't know. I just, like I said, I couldn't really miss. I was just feeling good. That first one went down, and then, yeah, like you said, just kind of played well. And then Medved was kind of rolling with me. I was like, okay, and that gives you a little bit of confidence too. So, yeah, and it was fun just because, and that was the game. Apparently, everyone was talking about, oh, now you guys are for sure a lock to get in the NCAA tournament. Little did we know, though, man, like that wasn't a lock for us. So it's a good thing we kind of took care of business the next game too against Nevada.
Absolutely. I mean, pretty crazy how that all unfolded. There's definitely a little bit of that national disrespect towards the Mountain West Conference as a whole. But I mean, you guys still made it there at the end of the day. It was phenomenal to see. Just looking at the 2 seasons that you did play at CSU, what would you say was your favorite memory that you're going to really take home, really bring with you when you're looking back at your time there?
Oh man, my favorite memory. That's a good question. There's so many, and it's gosh. I honestly think probably that CU game, man. That game against CU at the my second year when we beat them in Moby and had the court storm for us. I I just don't like my first year, if I'm being honest, when we played CU, I didn't really understand the magnitude of the Rocky Mountain Showdown because I was from Minnesota. And then I had one of my teammates explain to me, it's like Minnesota versus Wisconsin. Like you guys don't like each other. So I was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't really understand it that. So in the second year coming back around, I was like, okay, like, this is a huge deal. Like so, like I had to really step up, and I thought that game I played pretty well too. And like that was like the game too that kind of like started the headband Joe stuff. So that was just a really fun one for me. That was kind of like the start of everything, and when things started to shift for me personally. So I think that game will be the greatest memory.
I mean, that was really a coming out party. It felt like for you and for the team, where it's like
Yeah,
we're here and we're here to stay. It was really fun to
right.
see. You were one of the most genuinely likable people that we've ever had on the show. I mean, in every post game press conference, I mean, you had the press room absolutely in tears laughing. I mean, just really honest, really genuine. Where do you think that that all really stems from? I mean, the fans at CSU took such a liking to you, where you were really, I mean, the fans' mind, you were the guy on the team. Where did that really start for you, do you think, especially building that kind of repertoire with the CSU fan base?
Yeah, I think honestly, like, I grew up in a big family. I have 6 other siblings, so and we're all the Minnesota nice. It's not a fake thing. So I was just like coming out here, everyone was so genuine and nice to me. And I was just like, man, this is how I am. So it was like just like kind of like a perfect world for me. And that's why I don't want to leave Colorado now because it was just like great in that sense. And then everyone just like treats you so well, and that's what, like, I thrive on is, like, those, like, dynamic relationships. Like, I'm not good with transactional relationships, just, like, I like getting to know people, I like talking to people, I like having a smile on my face, I like having other people have a smile on their face, I just think life's better that way, so I think that's what maybe, um, helped me a lot this year is with a lot of the people and kinda, like, to resonate with the people of CSU and Colorado, so
For sure. I mean, the fans were coming out in a record base this season. It was phenomenal to see. I know that you said, you're going out to Vienna to spend a little bit of time with Rashawn out there. But other than
Yep.
that, man, what do you have on the docket? Like, what is the future looking like for you? I know that you were graduated this past season, so you were kind of, looking at that next step. But what are some of the things that are on your horizons looking forward?
Yeah, so, obviously, I'm going to just kinda hang out this summer, and, I'm gonna stick around in Fort Collins because I mean, it's the greatest one of the greatest places ever, and I love going up to Denver and, checking out different places in Colorado, so I'll be trying to have it be a Colorado summer for me, but, after that, I did sign with an agent, so I'm gonna give, playing overseas, a shot. I'm gonna keep it going, so I don't think I don't know gonna come from it, if I'm being honest. I just think it'll be a cool experience, and I think it'll be fun to, like, when I'm older, say, like, "Hey, I went over and played in Europe and did that," and, but I'm definitely gonna be, coming back to Colorado. So I'll be living in Fort Collins or pretty close to it, and, I made a lot of really good relationships with a lot of people out here, that have offered me some pretty cool jobs and stuff like that. So I'll definitely be back out here, uh, working in some capacity after my playing career.
That's fantastic, man. I mean, I'm glad that Colorado left that kind of lasting impression on
Yeah.
you. We're going to be happy to have you up here. Definitely going to be keeping you up to date with your playing career, especially to go play overseas right there. Before we let you out of here, man, is there any shout outs you want to give before we move on to this next segment?
Oh man. Shout out my little brother John, man. He's back in Minnesota. So shout out him. And shout out Pat Cartier too for graduating today. From his master's degree at CSU. So shout out Pat Cartier, man.
That's Joe Palmer, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really do appreciate it.